Hi, this is Dave McWater, 2020 Boxing Manager of the Year. And when I listen to podcasts, I listen to Chris Gotti and Don Dinero on Giving Them the Business. Bad. I'm not complaining. I don't want to be old fogeyism. But
it's not the same, but it's different. Yeah, it's different.
And they were so cool. The people were great to us.
This area is alive. Yeah. And that's what I like about this area. It's alive. Like, you see all types of people.
But you don't see any dominoes anymore.
No. You do. Right on this corner.
Right over here.
Right on this corner, in the park right there. They sit in that corner and they play dominoes. Yeah. So they're not on every block, but they're in that corner right here, right on this corner. I think they're Stanton, right off of Stanton there.
Well, that was a good, back in the day even, that was a good corner for it.
In all of your endeavors in business, which is your favorite that you've enjoyed the most?
I don't know. I mean,
and why?
I don't know.
You don't care. Are you more? Are you just so? Okay, if you don't care, then let me ask a different question. Is it because you're more enjoyable of overcoming the challenge?
Yes.
That's more of the game. Not. It doesn't matter what it is. You're more satisfied of the accomplishment of getting there.
I like to do stuff people tell me I can't do.
Achieve.
That's, I was community
don't
board
give
chair
me no
down
money,
here
Dave. Don't you give me no money.
I bet he can. I bet you can.
I get what, Dave? You cannot give me any money. Challenge accepted. No, but I get it. I have a lot of that as well. I pick up on everybody, and I'm telling you, I study you, I watch you, if mannerism, everything. That's who I am by nature. I do that with everybody, and I see the way you talk to people, the way, and then I'm getting a deeper insight on how you think about things, like how you approach business. That's why I said after speaking to someone last night, I said I have to talk to you. I want to talk to you because I think I see something that you might not see from a artist standpoint.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
You're so much more in touch with
that part.
Yeah.
Right, because it doesn't fit that criteria.
Right.
That criteria of you that to me is the X factor in a lot of scenarios. Now, I don't have that. The stuff I have is different.
Right.
That's why I asked you, how do you measure hard? There's no way to figure that out. And that is probably, shout out Sam Cassell, because when Sam becomes a head coach, I will be with the team where Sam is at, because he's seen that in me as well. He wants me to do that for him, for players. Right. Not to say anything else, but to say, no, they got something different with them.
That's why I'm always trying to get you to be my business partner.
Man, I'm right here. No, Dave, we're right. I'm right here. And again, it would be an honor and pleasure to do stuff. And I'm focused like on things. When I get on it, I lock on it. So it's like, and when I got just that moment, you seen it when we was at dinner, I'm in tune with everyone in that room. It's just who I am. And I could talk to each one. And then I also know how to talk to them to get the react to what we want from them. I think it's a deadly combination, honestly. I'm very intrigued in figuring out how to do something with you. And if it's that basketball team, I'm telling you, we're going to win championships.
We're going to be awesome.
I mean, again, now what's next? Like, you have the 80 fighters. Who's that guy right now that you think is the guy?
That's a tough question. I avoided that because I didn't want any fighter to feel bad.
No, it's still.
Well, I don't think he's dealing with feelings and emotions too much when it comes to that,
You're dealing
right?
with an artist.
You are. Do you? So you have to be careful. No, I'm just asking.
Think of music. Hey, think of music.
Still our biggest guy, but we have 7 female world champions right now.
Is that a new business you've? When did you start signing? That's a great question. When did you really? And is it the same metric?
No, it's all different.
Okay.
For women,
I didn't plan on getting the female business, but it happened, and then at some point we hired a guy named Brian Cohen, who honestly he should be nominated for Manager of the Year.
Wow.
He's great. He has had like 20 female world champions before we brought him in, and he's the best. And he was winning world titles with females who picked up boxing at like 25.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I've got access to the Olympic team every year, and I'm like, if we work together.
Combustion.
What are you going to do, right? I mean, because this guy knows the female business like you wouldn't believe.
He understands them.
So I mean, all of them are exciting.
The female fight game is very exciting.
Yeah,
Well, and his wife just became his wife is one of our fighters who's the unified 147 champion, but she did a movie called Catch the Fair One, which is about a girl in upstate New York who's a lesbian boxer whose sister has been kidnapped by sex traffickers. Wow. And she goes on basically some Liam Neeson shit looking for her sister and just messes up these guys, right? And it was great. And so we were all like, wow, that's great. You know, Kaylee Reese is her name. And so then she got to be a co-star in Detective Story with Jodie Foster, which is coming out soon. And now she's just got another movie.
Wow, that's
I forget the name of the movie, but she's a big movie star.
You know that when I hear that title, Catch a Fair One, that's the old school, right?
Yeah.
Catch a fair one. Let's get outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was you're gonna fight.
It's kind of the metaphor for our show, the mafia aspect of giving them the business.
Catch a fair one.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, by the way. You guys would all like it.
Well, I want to say it just off the title
really
alone.
Yeah.
So maybe the last 5 years you've been signing females, more or less?
Yeah, I'd say it's about right.
So it's the, say in that boxing. Now what's the difference? What's the difference in managing, say, a female fighter than a male?
Well, the big difference is that Brian does most of the work, which is great.
That's great.
Okay,
he's
part of
wonderful with it.
Brian.
Right. So another thing. Hey, listen to what he's doing. So you usually just try to hire the best guys in that field.
I have
it's
a great
the easiest
staff.
way to
but you know, he's wonderful, and I'm there. You know, because our office is bigger, he has a lot of support that he didn't have before. You know, he's got in-house legal. He's got accounting. He's got, endorsement people. He's got social media people. He's got all that stuff. So it's.
So do you still have a team that looks for fighters and brings it to him, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Right. Yeah, most of the Team USA type people that we sign are still through me.
That's dope.
Because I'm in that world, the Team USA world.
Do you find the boxing business, how bad is it from a business standpoint? Corrupt or I looked at boxing from my experiences, probably the worst business, and music is terrible.
Right.
And music is
that
terrible.
says a lot.
Yeah, and it's worse. And I'm saying that because the things that people take advantage of. See, David, for the people that know, David is like one of the most generous, good people.
He's one of the few good ones in the business.
Oh man, he goes above and beyond what he's supposed to do or needs to do. And these guys probably take advantage of that, right? Because that's the human nature. When someone starts giving, so you start taking more and more. But at the end of the day, that's who he is. And I mean, when I first got into boxing, it was so rough on the business side of it for the fighters and everything, and their lack of knowledge. It's a lot more transparent today.
It's not a great business. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But, I've done much more profitable things.
Sure.
It's the kids, sometimes the kids are a pain in the ass and entitled. But a lot of the times there's an adult in their life telling them they should behave that way. I mean, a lot of these guys are just kids. I mean, none of us were wonderful at 25 either.
Exactly.
I was a jerk.
Yeah.
And I'm sure most of the people in this room were.
Sure.
What shocks me about boxing is not the corruption, which is less than you would think. What shocks me is how few of the major executives in boxing, I believe, could keep a job for more than a month in New York City. And they're just, they're guys. I'm like, how the hell do you even
still work here? How do you
run we live here, right? Where you're expected to do something and be somebody and produce, and fuck, you guys are just
existing.
That's
what really shocks me. It's way worse than the fighters or the executives.
Boxing, again, I just want to touch on a few things with belts. When we was young, belts meant everything.
Right.
Do you feel it's the same today?
I have to feel that way because that's the way other people feel. But if I were a younger man, I would start a union for these kids. These kids are paid on 1099s. Nobody's got health care. Nobody's got benefits. They don't have the Social Security paid.
We need Jimmy Hoffa for boxing.
And we do. We need a Jimmy Hoffa for boxing. We really do. And
I tried.
The way I would fund it in the beginning, because the big guys aren't going to want to give up the purses. So I would say win the union belt. We pay millions and millions of fighters, pay millions of dollars a year to these belt groups, which are half corrupt. If there's something in boxing that's totally corrupt, it's them.
Belts.
Some more than others. But if I had a union, I'd say, okay, here's the union belt. Pay that fee instead, and it'll go to people's retirement funds. And,
doctor bills.
Right. So
which they need. Like they have no medical, man.
That's crazy.
They don't have seats on boards. They don't have anything. There's no voice. The couple of times Congress has ever cared, no boxers were asked to testify. VADA, which does the drug stuff, they don't have a representative from any, and none of the ranking organizations, none of them have a fighter or even an ex-fighter usually on their board.
Right.
It's all political hacks.
That's crazy.
So I think that's bullshit, and we can fix it with a union.
That's crazy. So with boxing, another question from boxing. I got that. Which era, like the eras, are you more favorite to?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, old fogyism always.
Obviously, you're a boxing
I love
fan,
the 70s,
of course.
but I will tell you, I think it's bullshit when people tell you these kids don't want to fight each other.
Yeah.
These kids, not just mine.
But
all
it's
these
the
kids,
business
they
side
want
that
big fights.
makes
Right.
them
I
not
think
fight.
it's the business side that screws that up. It's the networks. It's the exclusives that networks are signing with promoters.
Right.
That's the problem. The kids, I got to tell you, I think they get as much heart as anybody. They all want to fight people. You can't. I mean, maybe one or two kids don't want to, but most of these kids will fight anybody.
agree.
Do you think that's why maybe
anyone you put
the
in front of
UFC
them,
and MMA has kind of
that's where I was going next.
Okay,
I was going next.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, maybe because you mentioned something about not giving the fans the fights they want to see in time. Because you will get the fight after when one boxer's all old and fucked up, and you'll get, and then they finally do it. You should have fought in 2019, but I'm gonna get the fight this year, 5 years later, and say But MMA, they right away. You're the guy. You're the guy.
The one thing
they
with
match
MMA, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, is they fight 11-0 and they're a world champ. You never see that in boxing,
right?
But,
and then if they get a loss, their value's still there, even though they got knocked out. They're still there value-wise as far as putting another fight together for the next time.
Do you think it's
but
because
he has a monopoly, basically?
Yes.
But I think, the truth is, it's an easy story, right? Oh, they make the big fights, we don't. They're bigger than us. But the truth is, studies have shown they stole most of their fans from NASCAR. Which I think we all know what that means.
I know that means you're not dealing with the most educated consumer.
And, so I don't.
Is it the same WWE people? Is it the same kind of? Is it the same marketing?
I don't even know if the WWE people are rednecks. I don't know what they are. But NASCAR, definitely. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where they've stolen most of their fans. There's no studies that prove that they've stolen anybody from boxing.
Well, I looked at all MMA fighters again as failed boxers. Most of them used to box, wasn't successful.
I think most of them were good wrestlers.
And they was wrestlers, but I'm just saying grapple guys, they weren't boxers. That's why when these MMA guys say they want to fight these professional fighters, I got all the money on the fighter every day.
I only go
if it's boxing. We're talking about.
I go by. I have two young sons in college. And Prince and Z, the other day, Z was home from RPI, and he tells me, Dad, Saturday night, I watched Asanya.
Yes.
He's never asked me, he's 20, he's going to be 22. Dad, let's watch a boxing match. You know how many UFC matches I've watched with him?
Yes.
That's what I'm more noticing.
Oh, yeah, they're into it.
They're into that. They're not into the boxing.
Yeah.
Like I've never watched the box. He's never come home and he'll tell me Saturday night we're watching the fight, Dad, because we watch it for free. He has a thing on the laptop. In college, you know how to feel me. I'm not paying for it, right? And so, Sweetie, thank you for technology. Thanks for the fax machine and more.
The fax machine.
Yo, so I noticed, when we have records, I let them hear it. Like they're my A&Rs, because they're in that. They'll let me know, hey, this new rapper from Indiana doing this. I'm like, how'd you find this music? We learn from
different ways.
So I'm noticing, I'm watching a ton of US. I just watched the last 2 Saturdays ago with my son, who was home from college. So I'm saying, I never watched a boxing fight with it. They've never said, Dad, let's watch boxing.
Right, but he was MMA. He's like
Oh,
himself.
I've watched in we've been watching MMA for the past 7-8 years, and obviously they're WWE fans. All kids are, right?
How about this? Do they watch Jake Paul?
Yeah, when he does his, yes, they do. When
course.
he had this boxing match with
Social media.
you know what we did watch when Mayweather fought McGregor.
McGregor. Of
That
course.
was big. There was two
I was
worlds.
gonna mention-
They merged two worlds together.
That is what changed
When
a
Mayweather
lot.
held him up for 10 rounds or whatever.
Right, but I'm saying that caught their interest is what I'm saying. But for some reason, boxing, when you say, yeah, you have, but when it comes to pop culture or the kids that are into what we say, maybe it's because you said that, but hip hop, they're not, I don't know, they're not really gravitating.
You're right. All kids love WWE, but when I was a kid, there was no WWE. It was still regional.
Really?
And so growing up in Oklahoma, we got Dallas wrestling. And my favorite was this little black guy, Rocky Johnson, who would do backflips and kick people
Rocky
back in.
Johnson.
And that's
But
Dwayne
you had
Johnson.
Dusty Baker,
that's
too,
the
out there.
Rock's
Yes.
father.
Yeah.
Who knew,
Wow.
right? But
We were spoiled up here because we had Madison Square Garden,
Yeah,
Super
no.
Slice Snooker. We had all,
Snooker,
yeah.
Jimmy
remember?
he got
Super
all
Fly
his
Snooker.
size on the Samoan
Bobby
side.
Backlund.
Abby Backlund, Dusty Baker.
Got
It was totally regional. You would go to somebody, like if I went to see a cousin, I had a cousin in New Jersey. I didn't know any of the wrestlers.
Right.
I'd be talking about all these guys.
Do
that
you
I
think
thought
it's
were
marketed
legends.
better than boxing?
Probably. Everything's marketed better than boxing. Boxing has been so opiated by TV. They just they take the TV money and they don't do any work. Tell me the last time you thought a promoter really promoted. Not since Don King got old.
That's right.
Nobody's done it.
I'm glad you said that because Don King did that.
Oh yeah, he was a promoter.
He was out chasing it around everywhere.
Now the only fights you see when they promote is when they just talk shit about each other. Or,
Right.
like you know who promotes a really good fight? Mayweather.
Yeah.
But you know who also promotes when I look at McGregor with all the shit talking, right? Even though it's MMA. So those are the guys there. It's like it's on them to promote it. Now with social media and things like that. But it's like you said, you never have the big, but UFC does that for some reason. They make it,
Although my guy Teofimo Lopez, very.
Teofimo is one
he's
of
out
one.
there. He's a great. He's a unicorn.
He's one of one.
yeah.
Honestly, and I'm not saying that because you're here. I'm a huge fan. His style. He's from Brooklyn. Louis Collazo, one of my fighters. Shout out Louis. Was part of him coming up. I mean, a great talent, and you need that excitement. See,
Right.
boxing is very unique in the sense that you're in there by yourself. There's no help.
Right.
And if you don't put on a good show, which is very weird because you're really fighting for your life. So how do you, in the room of fighting for your life, put on a good show, but make sure the people enjoy it.
Right.
When you just want to get through it and win. But he has that knack. He is one of those. The reason Mike Tyson was so popular is he put on a show.
Absolutely.
He
And
came in,
But
One of
Mike
my
had a
first-
dynamic though. Mike came in the black shorts,
yeah, with
Like
nothing on. Gladiator.
right? And we
Weren't used to that.
were looking at. It's the first fighter that you didn't wait for him to get knocked out. Like there's fighters that they win, but I can't wait till they fuck you up. Like I'm watching the fight to hope you lose.
Everybody.
That
wanted
was
Mike to
Floyd.
win.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Floyd.
Floyd,
Yes,
Floyd
Floyd.
made hundreds of millions of dollars off
Because
people like me wanting
wanted
to
to
see him
lose.
lose. Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Mike, everybody wanted him to win.
Yes.
Well, you know
you would
what?
bet-
I
The
felt
day he lost,
when he fought
nobody could believe it.
Holyfield. When he fought
That's
Holyfield,
later
I don't
then.
think people wanted him to win.
Right. I'm talking about young
People was
Mike.
on Holyfield's side.
At the point, I'm telling you, people were crying the day he lost to Buster Douglas.
Oh my God! It's
I-
one of the
it
worst
was-
days of my life because I
was
lost someone on
shocking.
the street that day. The
And I
same
remember
day.
people talking to me about it, and all I could say was, he went down like a champ. I mean, he was struggling to get up.
He didn't train, man.
Right.
He
He didn't
He
train.
didn't.
He had a lot
No
of
one
heart.
thought,
Just-
no one in their mind thought he'd ever lose to Buster Douglas.
No.
And they were fighting in Tim fucking too. Though it wasn't some
No
shit. You
excuse.
can't even watch the
Japan.
fight at what time. It was
In
like
China or Japan.
It
right?
was somewhere, but what
Japan.
time was the fight here? It wasn't a fight.
Right,
We
right.
found out the next day in the newspaper.
No,
or
I
something.
was
no, no.
watching it live.
No, I was watching it live.
I watched
Okay,
it
It
live.
was
But I'm
probably
saying, yeah.
5:30, 6 o'clock.
Don't
US
matter. We
time.
paid the money. I paid.
But not
Yeah.
it was not that fight was not the
he was dealing with bootleg
no,
cables. still.
no. Again,
Time delay.
Yeah.
I was probably what year was that?
I'm bad with timelines.
High school, I think.
90,
No, we wasn't in high school.
No,
We were in
90
high
what?
school.
that's like 94.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in prison.
There you go. That's
Same
why
shit.
you didn't see
That's
it.
why you saw it.
Now you know why you missed
That's
it.
why I missed that. I just realized. My bad. Oh,
this
that's
is
what
what you
happened.
get here, giving him the business.
The CO came in that morning.
I told you
Hey, that's a loss. Get out, motherfuckers. That's what it was. I never forget. I was in prison. I'm a Bills fan. I never forget. I watched. We played in the Houston Oilers. We were fucking getting blown out in the first half. I go back to my cell. They only gave us a half. So upset. It was like 32-0 or something. We won.
Yeah, you ended up winning. Yeah.
Are you a Bills fan?
Yeah, I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah, I remember that game. What was that quarterback's name? The little kid from Maryland.
Kelly?
No, that was
the
Frank
backup.
Wright. Frank Wright.
Frank Wright.
Frank Wright.
He's the head coach
Frank
now
Wright.
over at Indianapolis. No,
The girl that I opened Coyote Ugly with, I was living with her at the time, and she was a Bills fan. And they were down so bad. I went in the other room at halftime and was on the computer. And she's like, Frank Wright's in. And I'm like, whatever. And she's like, he just threw a touchdown. I'm like, whatever. He just threw a touchdown, whatever. Finally, it
I
was
remember.
like 4 touchdowns. I went back in. I was like, holy cow, what's this guy doing? It was
Crazy.
That's one of those days you never forget.
Yeah. So our next endeavor is going to be the basketball team.
Absolutely.
That's
When
it.
you say basketball team, hit me on what you guys gonna do.
Hey, take it easy, brother. We'll talk
I'm
to you.
not-
We'll talk.
Wait, we live. I just want to know.
You know, we have
Basketball
rules
team.
around here, Dave. You can't dance with every record, brother. You might have to sit out for this one. No, David wants to put together. We was talking about putting a team into what's that?
The basketball
the one
league,
for like
TBL.
TBL.
But then I'd like to also
Oh,
keep
you talking about that
them
league
together.
that for the summer that plays for the money?
Well, no,
Well,
no.
that's
So
the
that's the
different one.
tournament. So
Oh.
there's the basketball tournament. But there's also a league. Dave Magley, the old Kansas player, runs it. And I'd like to buy a franchise in it, put it in Newark, and be in the. They run from like March to May.
But maybe we do
And
Puerto
then
Rico.
I'd like to keep the kids together
Maybe we do.
and try to win the basketball tournament and pick up the $1 million.
Exactly. It's $1 million purse for that one.
Because you'd
But
have a
maybe
bunch of
Because
guys.
they played in that league. They got teams in like New Hampshire, Boston area. He played in that league.
Yeah.
He played in that league years ago when he had it. That's a good league.
Yeah.
Again,
That's a big league. A lot of players don't, but that's a good league.
It's a good league, and Magley's a great guy. I mean, you know.
You know what you could do if you buy that team? Try to. You can't get a team in. Nah, they wouldn't.
You say New Jersey.
Yes, but you're gonna be in that league. But I would
Prudential Center would be home.
imagine. Can you work a deal with Puerto Rico and become part of that league, even though you're in Newark? That'd be fucking nuts. Just the Puerto Rican team. They don't have the money to fly. They don't have it because they travel. They give everyone a car, and they. But that would be an expansion.
Give
and a
everyone a car to
half.
drive to the games.
10 bicycles.
But so that's what you guys are gonna do. Put a team there and
No,
win
I
it.
love it.
I love that idea.
Yeah, we could figure it
That's
out.
what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'd have done it this year, but I got busy.
Yeah, we got to get them to slow down a little bit
Right.
and put a little more time and energy
Absolutely.
into it, and we're there.
So sports and so you're that's what you love. You love the aspect
do.
of sports, and
I do.
that's the basketball player in you, probably the
Yeah.
competitor in you.
You know, when I was a kid, I was a great games player. I could beat anybody at anything. But I wasn't a great athlete.
Right.
So it was so fun for me to go play sports because it was like giving all the other kids a handicap. Like I had to outsmart you now to beat you at anything. And then eventually I grew and got bigger and, you know, but yeah.
It's all good.
It was always a handicap. I mean, I wasn't going to the NBA with these handicaps. When Baron Davis gets here,
you'll see the difference.
I wasn't
Yeah,
going to
but
make it.
that road has led you to do great things and make. When I hear you, you have 80. You've made right now 80 people's dreams come true.
More than
think-
that. He's down. He went
saying-
down to 80.
No, what I mean is that's
He
just
was
in
over
boxing. I
that.
can imagine.
No, I'm
from
saying
employees,
in boxing he was more than that. He's now he's.
But what I'm
he's
saying
been
is that
cutting
besides
down
boxers,
some of the fat. Let's
he
say.
mentions people who work for him or opportunities. When you live a life like that, where you're constantly making people's dreams come true, giving opportunities, and doing, that's a ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? That's
Dinero,
something.
just so you know, is a high priest in Ifa. He's called Babulao.
It's a philosophy, basically. But we realize what I always say: a true life is if someone hangs a picture of you on their wall when you're not here anymore, then you had an incredible life. If they don't, you were never here.
Right.
You didn't do anything enough for someone to fucking hang a picture of you to say, look, this is the guy, or it could be your kids, your family, whoever. And when I see what you do, you have constant people who are you're still searching to make other people's dreams come true. You look at it from a business standpoint, but now I'm gonna give you the artist or the boxer who's there with his mom. Dad ran out. This is all he knows. Maybe he got bullied. This is why he became a boxer, whatever. And he's in there.
You got good hands for fighting.
Oh, yeah, I can put it in.
That's how I measure fighters.
Okay, so, yeah, if you fight like this,
I look at their hands first.
Yeah, I get it in. But listen, so what I mean is, like, when I see you, I just want to tell you, maybe no one's told you this, but, you know, I don't know how many kids you have. I don't know your own family situation, but usually Ifa says that those blessings will usually give you a longer life. Right. So you have the ability to, the whole purpose of life is to hopefully be able to see your grandchildren have grandchildren. That is a fulfilling life. And back then you would start young, right? Now we don't. If you start having kids at your 40s.
Good luck, God bless.
Right. So how do you, my life is crazy. So my first, I was 17 when my son was born. So later on in my path, when people would look at me and say, "Oh, you had your kids young," I say, "Yeah, I get to live on this planet a lot more time with them." I changed the idea of what a mistake would be having in high school, and I knew my
son at 21.
Tremendous challenges you have because you don't realize it's time, money, and everything else that you go through. At that time, you can't. But what I'm saying is that when you're helping so many people, giving people opportunities, you told Chris, "Hey, let's do this." That means you'll start a team, give another 12, 15 players an opportunity, like coaches, like. My brother, you're doing an incredible life for humanity. Having an incredible life, but you're doing incredible things for human beings. And you might not think you're doing that. You're just being you, right? You're not. But I'm telling you, the ripple effect that you're having, the amount of families you're feeding, the power, dreams come true, is incredible.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I have to commend you. Hat off to you on that side, because that is a truly fulfilling life. What you're doing is what very few human beings get on this planet and get a chance to do. Yes. Most people in your position, they're raping and pillaging.
Yes.
They're not. We talk about that.
All the time.
They're not really truly. Look, when you say, "I go above and beyond," that means I'll do extra. Even that means when you say above and beyond, I think money.
Of course.
Above and beyond money.
Time is money. Everything.
No, and time too. You might have extra phone call. Shit, I'll fly down and see what the fuck's going on, so they know I'm real. Whatever, right? So that generosity aspect means that you value people more than you do money, even though money is important. Am I wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. You're into the people business is what I'm noticing.
Right. I do. I like people.
Yeah.
And raping and pillaging is exhausting.
It is.
I don't know if you've ever tried it.
No.
Really
listen, I have a saying that says, it's a lot easier to tell the truth because you don't have to remember anything you said. Right. Because everything you said was the truth, right? So, so in the sense is that's being righteous. We always talk about who's going to lead us without trying to rob and cheese. Love, loyalty, and respect. I cannot say I love you if I disrespect you. The relationship me and have is the utmost respect. Mm-hmm. I have the utmost respect for that man, and I understand. I told you, I'm the only guy I've ever followed. I've always been my own guy, but in life you need certain people that have the same. You can't do it on your own. You got to, and I noticed that you've built your business, lining yourself up with good people that are like they know what they're doing, so you can trust that, and that's probably how you've built your empire. Chris does the same thing. He gives a lot of people opportunities. That in my eyes, sometimes I say, "Man, why are you giving opportunities?" Because no one else will. He might fuck it up, but at least I gave it to him, and he cleans his karma. I'm like, yeah, you clean your karma, you don't even know it. No, you are. When you do, you're cleaning your karma, and people say, "Oh, he's lucky." You're not lucky. You're just doing the right thing is probably the hardest thing you have to do in this life when you look around and everyone's going left.
Yes.
Well, I think for all of us as we get older, we're all past 50 now.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest goal is not to be ashamed ever again of anything I do. And I think but I don't think that's unique. I think a lot of guys, in the early days, your goal is this or that, whatever. My goal is, not to have something that I'm embarrassed I did.
Right. Yes.
Or we say something, all money's not good money. Sometimes, I remember when we discussed it was an artist they wanted us to manage years back, and I was like, bro, and we're kind of glad we kind of dodged that bullet in a weird way. And there was a lot of money involved at the time, but it's just like all money's not good money. Right. And if you can kind of go forward and say, hey, man, 2 years from now, how are we going to feel about this?
Oh, some people can flat run your life no matter how much money's
on. Oh, they don't care.
Yeah. Well, you have some really, just like you have good people like yourself. There's someone totally opposite of you in the same position, probably raping and pillaging.
But, man, I want to thank you
Oh, thank
It
you
was
guys for
great
having me.
time.
This was a lot of fun.
Great time here. And we, again, we'll get you on when you get your next world champions and we
All
have more
right.
stories to talk about. But we're going to talk after this, of course.
Okay.
Dinero wants in on the basketball team. We'll see if he can
All
fit
right.
in there.
Hey, listen, janitor. You need a janitor.
Yes,
you
we
need
do.
something.
You
You
know
know,
what
just
it
when you
is.
got to make a decision, just say, "Hey, you got to talk to the janitor."
But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo, my partner Don Dinero.
You already know, Mr. Money for the Gringos.
And I want to thank Dave McWater for coming in and spreading all his fascinating stories
Definitely.
and knowledge for us to simmer and listen to and understand more in business, man. Thank you for tuning in.